Yo, what up? How you guys doing out there today? This is your boy Roto Beast. I'm here with my boy Jeremy. We're here to present you our NFL Week 4 wide receiver picks. If you're new to this channel, please make sure and click the subscribe button below. This way you can watch all of our NFL, NBA, and MLB videos. And if you haven't came and checked out our website here at dfscheatsheet.com, you're absolutely missing out. We have all the tools to help you compete with the pros day in and day out, including a complete optimizer, tons of content, daily FanDuel and Draftkings cash lineups. It's really a one-stop shop for our DFS needs. So make sure to check out the site here at dfscheatsheet.com. Say what up, Jeremy? How you doing out there, bro?
What are we on? Wide receivers? Wide
Wide
receivers.
receiver. Yes, sir. How, hey, I think there's a lot of good options on the high end, all the way down to there's some really good value plays that you can look at this week. I think wide receiver is going to be an interesting week this week because you can pay up, but you can also pay down and get some comfort with it as well. So I'm ready to jump in wide receiver if you're ready to go.
Yeah, let's get into wide receivers. The sexy play.
Yeah, you want to just go to the all right, straight to the sexy play. All right, so Keenan Allen, that's where it's at. I mean, I think that he's a staple in your cash games this week going against Miami. One thing that scares me is that the game could get out of hand. But Keenan Allen, he gets his targets, early. He gets his targets often. I mean, he's leading the league in targets by like 10 targets. That's almost a complete game on anybody else. Through 3 games, he already has 42 targets, and he's been doing well. He's been getting his touchdowns in the red zone as well. Coming off a monster 17 target week against Houston, I just think he's a guy that you can put in your cash game and feel comfortable with the floor that he's going to give you this week.
I just look. I get it. The targets are the first thing that pops off when you think about Keenan Allen, and for somebody who's going to get that many targets, that's more like he's pushing running back one in
Right.
forms of opportunity, right? So in terms of opportunity, so there are some things here that scare the absolute piss out of me. One of them would be if Melvin Gordon does report tomorrow, and
Okay.
they happen to feel like they're going to use him this week. It's important to note that even though he will report on a Thursday, supposedly, the NFL doesn't start practicing until Wednesday. The Wednesday is the first day of practice in the NFL. So, if you're not playing the Thursday night game, um, most regular weeks of practice, the first day is Wednesday. So, coming in on Thursday, it's not like he's going to miss a whole bunch. It's a system that he's already been in. I get, he wouldn't be quite ready to play from a game shape standpoint, but it just absolutely scares the crap out of me that you're going to add one more guy possibly to the rotation. So I think that first and foremost is the wait and see part. Second, it's Miami. We don't know what's going on with Miami with the quarterback situation. We don't know what's going on with Miami from as a whole, as a team situation, right? So he could have a really explosive game on less targets. We've seen him do that in the past. He has big play upside. I like the play. I think the conservative price on him for the amount of opportunities he's had kind of reflects the uncertainty around the situation. You think only 8,100 for him, and the guy 13 catches on 17 targets, 8 catches on 15 targets, 8 catches on 10 targets, only 2 yards short from having 3 straight 100-yard games. He's got 3 touchdowns through 3 games. Bona fide sexy play here. Just there's a lot around it that makes it maybe a little unsafe for cash, but borderline cash safe, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I mean, and I understand that the Melvin Gordon situation. Just me personally, I just feel like it's going to take a little bit more away from Eckler than it would against Allen. I mean, he's the main target for Rivers, and that's, I mean, we're seeing that over and over. But I definitely understand it, and one thing that really does scare me is the fact that they could get up quick and just kind of give people some rest. Before we move down to some guys I feel a really good price, one guy I quickly want to throw up there in the high tier as well is Julio Jones. I know it's not the best matchup going against a pretty good Tennessee defense, but the targets are there. He's had a couple big games in a row, and the biggest thing for me is Julio's getting in the end zone right now. He already has four touchdowns in 3 games, so I think he is a little bit more of a GPP play. I feel personally that Kenny Allen is a little bit more safer for cash, but I think Julio is in play once again this week as well.
I just really have a feeling that this week could yield a little bit more for Devontae Freeman, which may take a little bit away from the receivers in Atlanta. I don't dislike the play. It's Julio. It's a good price. I just I worry with Matt Ryan turning the football over as much as he had, and then with Devontae Freeman starting to get it going a little bit last week with a huge increase in volume. I just, I don't know. I don't mind it in tournaments. Obviously, I don't think I'd go there in cash.
Yeah, no, I understand. And I'm gonna clump these three guys up. I'm gonna clump them all up together. I think they are GPP plays just because there's three really good ones. But Brandon Cooks, Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, those Rams receivers, they're all basically the exact same price. I mean, the tough part is finding out who's going to kind of have the good week. But I know you mentioned it yesterday on our Tuesday tailgate segment. That those guys are in place for GPPs, and in GPPs, you feel comfortable stacking all three of them with Jared Goff and kind of seeing how that goes.
Yeah, I like all three of these guys, man. There's plenty of targets to go around in Los Angeles.
Yeah, no, definitely. Next, I'm going to bring up Sammy Watkins. Yes, he hasn't had the same weeks that he's had, week one, the monster game, etc. But we mentioned in the title video with Kels is Sammy Watkins is still getting a boatload of targets. I mean, it is what it is. His price has come down a little bit because he hasn't had the monster game like he had week one. But at 6,900, I think it's still a very fair price tag with Tyreek Hill being out. And I would like him even more if the running backs ended up getting ruled out this week. So at 6,900, I'm definitely going to go back to the well. I'm on Sammy Watkins, and I hope that some people jump off because of the past couple weeks.
I think that this is a wait and see as well. Wait and see with Kansas City and Sammy Watkins, what's going to go on with the running backs this week. I mean, if you're going to be looking at a situation where Shady's not going to play with the ankle injury and Damian Webb's not going to play with the knee injury, then I think you can definitely roll out all the wide receiving targets for Kansas City because we know what Mahomes has done. He's been a monster through 3 games already, and it takes away some of the no running backs will take away from how do I want to say this? No good running back in this game will not take away from the wide receivers. It'll add to the opportunity they're going to get.
Right. No, that makes sense. My same price tag as Sammy Watkins, another guy that I like. Julian Edelman, he's questionable with the rib injury. He had a really good first half last week, and unfortunately, he got taken out. We had him in cash games, but the fact that he had a good first half, he still paid off for us. With no more Antonio Brown, it's really the Julian Edelman and Josh Gordon show. Obviously Tom Brady trusts Julian Edelman a lot. He's going to get his double-digit targets if he plays in this game. And if Julian Edelman is out, then I think that you look at Josh Gordon, give him a big-time bump. At only 6,200 last week with Edelman getting hurt, he got 11 targets, caught 6 of them for 83 yards. Didn't get in the end zone. That would have made his day that much better. But he's the big play receiver. He's going to get the deep balls downfield. And if Edelman is out and he's going to get double-digit targets at 6,200 from, the best quarterback that ever played, then, I think that you got to consider him as well. What's your thoughts on the wide receivers right there for New England?
Tournaments. I'm okay with it in tournaments. I just look, man. I'll say it again and again and again this week until I'm proven wrong and Sunday happens. I just don't think this is going to be a bunch of fantasy goodness in this Buffalo-New England game. I think that you're going to get something that looks more like Jacksonville and Tennessee or, Carolina and Tampa Bay. I don't think this is going to be a fantasy shootout. I think this is going to be 2 teams that are very good, one trying to find out if they can compete with the New England Patriots, and the New England Patriots trying to still assert their will and break the hopes and dreams of Buffalo that they still own this division. I just think that this is going to be a slow game. I think that you're going to see Sonny Michel and some of these other guys get some carries, and I think you're going to see some double tight end sets from New England with guys we've never heard of before. It doesn't make any sense to me to look at a game like this and know who Bill Belichick is and think that this is going to be a 50 pass attempt game for Tom Brady against this defense. I don't see that happening. So I'm weary of it.
Yeah, I get you. I definitely get you. I like the price tags on both those guys. And if Edelman is definitely out, then I think that Gordon does get a little bit of bump. Tournaments, I understand for sure.
I would much rather play DeMarcus Robinson at 6,700, to be honest with you.
Okay. A guy that I think will be in a shootout, and I think this is a guy is a really easy cash game play this week. Is Tyler Lockett. We like Russell Wilson a lot. Tyler Lockett, he didn't have. He had a very quiet week one. In just the past 2 weeks alone, he's had 26 targets. He caught 21 of the 26 targets for 230 yards, 6,600. The price tag hasn't came up very much at all on a guy that's got 26 targets in 2 weeks. And I just think he's a guy that you can load up in a game that we both think is going to be a pretty high-scoring game, Seattle and Arizona. What's your thoughts on Tyler Lockett?
I like this whole group of wide receivers right here, starting with Golladay at 6,700, including Lockett at 66. I agree with you about the shootout possibilities there. I think McCole Hardman at 6,500. If both running backs in Kansas City are out, you could throw him in the mix. Sterling Shepard back for the Giants. He's clearly their best wide receiver there. Terry McLaurin, we've talked about, the only wide receiver to have at least 5 catches and 3 touchdowns in the history of the NFL through his first 3 weeks of the season. I like him. So, even DK Metcalf, you could talk about him at 6,100. This whole group of guys I really like. I think DK Metcalf is a guy that goes completely under-owned, is a great tournament pivot off of Tyler Lockett. You look at the targets, 6, 7, and 6. He has had, 67, 61, and 89 yards respectively in his first 3 games in the NFL. Only 1 touchdown. I think that this is a really good spot for him to be lower owned with all the attention being on Tyler Lockett. But I do like this group of wide receivers kind of between 6,700 and 6,000.
You literally made my job a lot easier because you touched on every guy that I had listed. I had Golladay, I had Shepard, Lockett. That group is really, really good. And that's why I think that, you can get one of those mid-tier tight ends that we talked about. You can kind of balance out this because there is a lot of good wide receivers that you can look at in that group. A couple guys a little sub 6,000 I think that we can look at as well. And we just talked about Seattle. On the flip side, I think for Arizona, I think that you can look at Christian Kirk and you can look at Fitzgerald as well. 5,900 for both of them. Kirk, he's already had 32 targets on the season. He's been, pretty efficient for the most part with those targets, coming off a 10 catch on 12 targets last week. He didn't have the big one, so the yardage was down a little bit. But the fact he's getting double-digit targets, I really like him. And then, his teammate, Larry Fitzgerald, he's getting so many red zone targets right now. Outside of last week, he had 2 double-digit target games in a row. I like both of those guys a lot for Arizona. I think that, sub 6,000, those guys are really, really good plays also. Anybody else below them that you're going to throw in there?
I'll keep going, man. I don't mind Stephon Diggs. I've talked about it here. I think he's got to have a decent game. We saw Washington, their wide receivers, mainly McLaurin, have a decent game against the Chicago Bears. I think that they're going to have to throw the football in this game and rely on Kirk Cousins and these wide receivers at some point. You could talk about DJ Chark at 6,000. And Gardner Minshew been extremely effective. He's been extremely efficient. Chark has been one of his favorite targets. Will Fuller, extremely explosive. Look, Christian Kirk, Larry Fitzgerald, Calvin Ridley. You could talk about John Brown possibly in this spot, right? Emmanuel Sanders back in the slot, $5,500. We love him as a slot receiver. Dede Westbrook, Adam Humphries, Corey Davis, and even the rookie there, not Tajay Sharp, but the kid from South Carolina for Tennessee. What is his name? Let me just grab that real quick. Slipped my mind completely. A.J. Brown, right? A.J. Brown at 4,700. I like all these guys all the way down here. Wide receiver for the first 3 weeks has been extremely, extremely fair price. And A.J. Brown at this price tag of 4,700, he's a monster wide receiver. 5 targets, 4 targets, 1 100-yard game. I think that this kid has a ton of potential and skills. It's a guy I really like at 4,700, but you don't have to get sexy with the wide receivers this week. You've got to find the right combination of them.
Yeah, for sure. No, I definitely think that you don't, necessarily, I love Keenan Allen. I would love to put him in cash games, but I honestly do feel that you don't have to go so high up, in wide receiver. There's a lot of really good mid-tier receivers that can give you close to the same thing. And that's really where I'm at with wide receivers, man. That was a ton of them. It started at the top and, all the way down. I think that there's a lot of really good mid-tier wide receivers, a lot of kind of on the lower end wide receivers. And yeah, man, that's really where I'm at. Anybody else you want to throw out there, or are you ready to get out of here?
Yeah, no, that's kind of where I'm at, man.
Yeah, for sure. So, that's what we got for our wide receiver picks this week. If you want to check out any of our other positional videos, make sure to check out the site, dfscheatsheet.com. Make sure to take advantage of our annual package. It's 50% off right now. Use promo code NFL2019 to take advantage of that. And hey, good luck on your contest this week, all right? Peace out.